Women's biggest motivation is feeling loved. They crave attention and passion. For men, it is comfort. As soon as they don't receive comfort, they go elsewhere. A woman sporting several different stylish outfits goes to work every day. She is a fashion designer. She talks elaborately about materials, styles, and creations, getting complimented by her higher-up. On the other side, a man pitches his idea to his managers, slyly getting into the psyche of a woman. They agree to the new campaign and shake hands. Over lunch, 4 girls from the fashion designing company console one of the girls, who just got dumped by her boyfriend. Thusly, the main protagonist explains to the heartbroken girl that she should not have gotten dinner with him and slept with him the same night. It gives the man the wrong idea. Asli ends her lecture by insulting the guy who dumped her friend, saying all men are like that. The girl, Asli, sits at home and writes on her blog, typing that men own the world, and they are controlled by women, who are in turn controlled by their hormones. Someone comments on her post, asking her if she herself has tried these tactics to make a man fall in love. Smelling a challenge, Asli agrees to have someone fall in love with her and share her journey with everyone online. The next day, Kerem, the guy who was pitching his idea to the group of people, storms into his boss's office, complaining about how his assignment got reassigned to someone else. He goes to Tuna, who is in charge of his project, just to see his friend heartbroken over a girl, sitting in silence. Kerem claims to his friend that he has women all figured out. And on the other hand, Asli says the same thing to her friends, that she has men figured out. Kerem gets teased by his friends, who think he cannot make anyone fall for him. They challenge him to make someone fall for him. It seems as if both groups of friends are talking about the exact same thing. Asli and her friends, and Kerem and his friends dress up, while both challenge people to talk about what their perception of men and women is. Both groups coincidentally go to the same nightclub, dressed from head to toe, out to hunt for prey. Kerem wears an all-white, sturdy suit with slicked back hair and a few buttons from his shirt undone. He tells his friends to choose a girl he will seduce with confidence, and from his side, sees Asli. She is wearing a slick ponytail with a shiny black dress with straps and long layers of necklaces. She has on glossy, natural-looking makeup, making her seem sophisticated and natural, but chic and gorgeous. From the girl's perspective, they notice the men, particularly Kerem, eyeing Asli and ask if he will be the one she chooses. It seems both groups have noticed each other, and they announce to let the game begin. However, both of their tactics are similar. They both sit and wait for one of them to approach the other. When that does not seem to work, Asli walks by them, getting entangled with the dancer who twirls her around, as she walks to the bartender and politely asks for a mojito. A weird man there starts flirting with her, asking her if she wants to go to a quiet place with him, making Asli uncomfortable enough that she screams at him. Suddenly, she is approached by Kerem, who calls her by a pet name, making it seem like they are together, so that the perverted man leaves her alone. As they walk away, she says she wants to go back to her friends, but Kerem has her stay, telling her the man from the bar is still looking at her. He then introduces her to his friends, who immediately invite her to their village, but Asli politely ignores it, walking back to her friends. Her friends hurriedly ask her why she gave him the cold shoulder, but she confidently says that he will come back. And he does, but not to talk to her. He comes to her table to hand her the drink she forgot. He then leaves smoothly, making the girls with Asli eye him, calling him handsome and polite. Asli's friend, who seems interested in Tuna, and Kerem's friend dances with her after they introduce themselves. Later on, as Asli and her group is leaving, her friends think her plan has failed, but Asli tells them smugly that everything is going perfectly. Back at home, Kerem searches about Asli while Asli searches about Kerem, looking at each other's horoscopes, social media, etc. The next day, Asli gets pressured to go to an event she does not want to go to, but her coworker says it is important that she meets their new partner. At the event, Kerem is there too. Asli, who is there looking at paintings and sculptures, almost bumps into Kerem, but coincidentally they do not. Asli, who is there to be introduced to a woman, accidentally spills her drink all over her, and runs away without letting her face be seen. Out in the taxi, Asli gets in quickly while it is raining, only to see Kerem there as well. Seems they both have to get out of the party. Kerem asks if Asli is hungry and she exclaims that she is. He takes her to a fancy restaurant by the sea, which she finds extremely cliché, taunting him about how he must take every woman he is interested in here. While they eat, they smile at each other politely, with Asli thinking that he has brought her here to woo her. He stares embarrassingly as a violinist comes to their table and plays a tune for them, which is something musicians do for couples. Asli laughs at the cliché setup, thinking that Kerem has planned all of this. He stares embarrassingly. Later, he drops her off at her house and bids her goodbye. Her reply is reluctant as she walks away from him, both of them harboring negative thoughts about each other. He sees her shawl, which she left on purpose, in the taxi and smirks to himself, noticing her tactic. At home, Kerem tells his friends what happened. He is sure that she likes him but calls her hard to please and arrogant, while Asli writes a post to her fans, telling them she will refer to the man as Mr. K. She calls him a cliché guy who thinks he can get with any girl. The next day at her office, Asli waits for Kerem to come by with her shawl, but to her disappointment, he sends a delivery man her way. Kerem laughs to himself in his office, imagining the look on Asli's face. This is another one of his tactics. He then waits for her to call, and so does she. They sit by their phones all day, expecting a call, but they both don't give in. The next day, Asli wakes up to someone calling her. In her excitement, she falls off her bed. However, it is not from Kerem, it is from her job, telling her she has to go to Cappadocia. Kerem, who is showering, also gets a call, thinking it is from Asli. He gets shampoo in his eyes as he fumbles for his phone. Turns out, he also has to go to Cappadocia for a business meeting. In the airplane, Asli turns to her left to see Kerem seated beside her. She stares incredulously at him, assuming this is another one of his tactics to flirt with her. She catches him smiling widely, laughing. She also turns her head and smiles wide, quickly typing in her blog about the fish being in the net. He asks how this can be a coincidence, but she accuses him of following her into the airplane. He laughs widely at the idea, proposing the idea that maybe it is the other way around, making Asli scoff. As they get out of the airport, a man stands there with both their names on the same poster. Asli cannot understand what is going on as she confusingly gets into the van, followed by Kerem. Once they reach the hotel, Mr. Servet greets Asli warmly. He asks for Kerem's name reluctantly and then calls him the ad boy, after which he takes Asli away to her room. They both realize that it was in fact a coincidence that they met on the same airplane. She writes in her blog, saying she now possesses the one thing that will make Kerem kneel: jealousy. She describes jealousy as a feeling that makes a woman precious to a man. Later, they walk out of their rooms together, with a dressed-up Asli. Mr. Servet meets them midway, linking his arms with the girl, and takes them to his wine collection. Before they begin tasting, the man introduces them to his daughter. Seeing her, Kerem loses his smile. He seems to already know her. They sit by the beautiful view and taste wine. The man's daughter teases Kerem's leg beneath the table, making him stand up and loudly shout a toast. But Servet quiets him down, telling him that youngsters do not know what they should raise their glass for. Servet tells the young people that they should raise their glasses for beauty and love. Later, after the wine tasting, Asli and Kerem go to their rooms, which are beside each other. Kerem waits for a knock on his door, knowing that Asli will knock any moment now. However, it is not Asli, it is Servet's daughter. She is Kerem's ex and she lays him down on the bed, confessing that she has not forgotten about him and that they should be together. A very nervous Kerem lies about why they can't be together, and she apologetically takes him in her lap. That night, the four of them are at a bar, with Asli and Kerem planning to make each other jealous. But Kerem sees that Asli is getting uncomfortable with Servet's touching, and he walks to their table, interrupting Servet's flirting. He then makes Servet drink a lot as a competition, getting the old man drunk. After that, they dance a bit, with Asli being uncomfortable the entire time. After he gets tired, Kerem gives the woman an option to either carry the old man home or leave with him. Of course, Asli chooses the latter. He takes her to a small cozy-looking hotel place, where he meets some people he already knows, and introduces Asli to them as well. Turns out that Kerem grew up in this area. The woman, Sevink, shows Asli a childhood picture of Kerem with his father, who she finds out passed away when he was young. Asli asks about his mother, but he gets up from the table and walks away. She asks if she said something wrong, but she is told that it is a touchy subject for Kerem, whose mother left him when he was 10. Later on, Kerem hands Asli a tear cup, something women used to collect their tears when their husbands were away, as an assurance that they loved their spouses. She asks if he can make pottery, and he takes her to try it out, getting behind her and helping her with their faces really close, making Asli blush. She quickly turns away from him. After that, when it is almost dawn, he tells her it is time for an important activity. He gets close to her and takes her neck scarf off, tying it around her eyes, telling her to trust him. He takes her to a hot air balloon, and soon when she realizes where she is, she starts screaming, telling him she is acrophobic, and the only reason she was fine on the plane was because she had taken a pill. She screams and screams while he tries to hold her down. He calms her down by telling her to close her eyes. She slowly stays in his arms and takes deep breaths as he kisses her forehead to calm her down. When she opens her eyes, she is met with the fantastic view of several balloons in the sky, making her tear up. Afterward, they walk back, shyly smiling. At their hotel room doors, Asli thanks him for the beautiful night and they bid each other good night, or good morning. Once alone, the two of them smile unsurely, knowing that they are falling in love. Kerem walks to her door and is about to knock but holds himself back, whereas Asli is about to open her door to go to him, but stops herself. Later, both of them say goodbye to Servet and his daughter. Kerem sits with his friends in his office, who laugh about a blog called Love Tactics, where a man is trying cheap tricks on a woman, not knowing that she is playing with him. On a side note, his friends witness the fact that Kerem has not been with a single girl ever since he met Asli, making them believe that he is falling in love. He makes an excuse, saying he has not had the opportunity to. Asli talks about Mr. K in a positive light, writing in the blog that he is not so bad when he is being himself. One comment she gets is someone asking her if she has fallen for him while trying to trick him. Seeing the comment, Asli quickly closes her laptop. Kerem texts her, asking if she wants to have dinner tomorrow. She is happy with the text but remembers the comment. She takes some time to reply back to him, even though it is hard not to do so. In the end, she decides to text back within an hour. He calls her to his place at 7 p.m., saying he will cook. She agrees. The next day, she goes to his house and he welcomes her inside, telling her to make herself at home while he cooks. They have dinner together, with Asli typing in her blog that tonight is the night they kiss, and Mr. K lets his guard down. However, while they are eating, it is Asli who seems the most nervous, downing the glass of wine by her. He gets up to pour her some more, and she thinks they will kiss, so she closes her eyes. He sees it smugly and returns back to his seat. She is nervous about the fact that he is not making the first move no matter what, so she drinks and drinks. Seeing her tipsy, he gets close to her face, but he still doesn't kiss her. Kerem takes Asli to his garden, where he has set up a sitting area with a projector where they can watch a movie. He holds her hand romantically as they watch Breakfast at Tiffany's starring Audrey Hepburn. It is her favorite movie, and she cries during a scene, eyeing him occasionally. As it is raining in the movie, Kerem presses a button and it starts raining around them, making her call him incredible. He denies it, saying she is incredible, and they finally kiss and kiss. He takes her to his room and they kiss while laying down, but as things escalate, she asks for a drink, interrupting their moment. He comes back with some and continues kissing, but she stops him, asking if he brings other girls here. He sits away from her and asks who she is talking about. Asli, with teary eyes, asks him to tell her something no other girl knows. He sighs and tells her about the piano downstairs which belonged to his mother. She kisses his shoulder in happiness as they both lay in each other's arms, talking and laughing. They have a long conversation about anything and everything, finally sleeping. He wakes up to see she is not there. She is instead by his mother's piano, playing a tune. He sits beside her as they stare at each other with a certain gentle look in their eyes. He travels his hands up the piano and holds her hand, which is playing the music. They kiss again. The next day, Kerem's friends and Asli's friends talk about the events of last night, but both of them don't say much. Asli tells her friends she does not want to do this anymore. Their friends tell the lovebirds that they have fallen for each other. Asli's friends ask to see a picture of Kerem, and once her friend Han sees him, she recognizes him as the one who broke her heart. After Asli finds out, she calls herself stupid for falling for it and apologizes to her friend, who says they are destined to be toyed by the same guy. But Asli decides to teach him a lesson. She calls him for dinner, and once he is there, she puts up her Instagram live without him knowing, secretly filming him. Kerem lovingly looks at Asli, telling her last night was not casual for him, that he really has feelings for her. He tells her he did not believe that love existed before her. As his friend sees everyone watching the live, he calls Kerem, but Kerem is with Asli, confessing his love for her. Asli finally speaks, thanking him for confessing his feelings. She then confesses that she tricked him into falling in love, screaming at him about how he goes around breaking hearts. She records every single thing and walks away, leaving him alone by himself. She cries as she walks by the sea, trying to calm herself down. She finds a nearby bench and sits, biting her lip. Kerem lays down in his house, numb with what he just went through, and so does Asli. Their days go by quietly. Asli stops socializing with her friends and Kerem is looked at by everyone on the streets. One day, Asli's boss calls her and fires her. He gives her no explanation, and just tells her to leave. Kerem is visited by Meltem, who walks in smugly and sits down on his couch, telling him that he can learn to love her too if she leaves with him to London. She admits that she is the one who got Asli fired. Asli gets her job back, but she does not accept it, looking toward the tear cup Kerem gave her. While the other scene shows Kerem in the car with Meltem, probably leaving for London with her. Asli is visited by all her friends and Kerem's friends, who tell her that he really loves her and she should chase him. At the airport, Asli runs to catch up to Kerem, who is already at the airport. The road, which is blocked by a few people, stops them for a while, but Asli's friend cusses at them loudly, surprising everyone, and the people finally clear the road. However, they are met with more traffic. Asli coincidentally sees a bike by her window. She smiles widely at the delivery man and rides with him to the airport. Asli runs inside. She knows she will be late, but her friend, Kansu, has already booked her the same flight as Kerem. Inside the airplane, everyone talks about the blog Love Tactics final post. Begrudgingly but curiously, Kerem reads it only to find out that Asli regrets everything she did to him, and that she really loves him. Kerem smiles widely, getting up from his seat in the airplane, while Asli tries getting on the airplane. Both of them barge through security and meet each other midway. They walk up to each other. Asli confesses her love for the man, and they kiss passionately. Afterward, the police come and arrest both of them for illegally barging through security, and they get handcuffed together, walking back lovingly.